during the podcast. Like, this is a good conversation for the podcast. Anyway, welcome, lords and ladies. Hopefully you can hear me all right, but I totally lost it there. Anyway.
Sharing a mic, so it might not work.
Yes, we're sharing a mic. I was going to say, but welcome to Morning with the Lord, but it didn't really seem to flow that well after saying lords and ladies. I guess I do it all the time. But yeah, if you haven't been able to tell so far, we have a guest with us on today's episode. This is Aaron Pratt.
Yep, watch out, people.
Yep, lock up your daughters. Aaron's out. But he will be joining us for today's podcast because this is a fairly auspicious moment. We might very well be at war already, for as far as we know, here in Australia.
It's coming along.
And we decided to have just a couple of drinks to
celebrate the occasion, I reckon.
Yeah. I was going to say celebrate, but I think it's more just to try and push out the thought from our mind that this might even be happening.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
I don't think
I brought this up on the radio the other day because I was saying, when you think about it, right, none of us at the moment are going out to socialise, out to the pubs, because it's still not considered really alright that we go to the pubs. Well, we gather in social groups, because of the COVID shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, everyone at the pub is really only going out to get pissed.
That sounds like me, yeah.
It has nothing to do really with the whole social aspect. Like, at the moment, we are just drinking to drink because it's like, fuck, we need to get out. Which I think is a little bit more, more damaging to go about it that way. At least everyone at the pub is going to be there because they got something to complain about.
Yeah, you always hear a good yarn at the pub.
Yeah. Oh, and there's going to be an ad.
Of course there's going to be an ad.
Pause that. Alright. Starting off the first story on today's... Oh my god, it started anyway. I said pause.
It's an ad, bro. It works its way through. Have to see that.
South Park warned us about this. Alright. This story is titled Air Raid Sirens Heard in Ukraine's Capital. It's it's about 45 minutes old that it was posted. And it's from Sky News. Right, now this story starts off saying air raid sirens have been sounded in the Ukraine capital of Kiev minutes ago, in the early hours of Thursday morning local time. Journalists in Kiev are reporting the sirens have been going off since 7 a.m, moments after an announcement from Russian President Vladimir Putin the military would be conducting an operation in the Donbas region of Ukraine. Okay, that's all that story is.
Yeah. Okay.
A profit line.
Yep. Literally 2 paragraphs.
I wouldn't even call one of those paragraphs a sentence.
Yeah, no, that's 2 sentences. Alright. Cheers, Sky.
Hey, you've done well.
Yeah.
Smashed.
It is meant to be a live story, but so it will get. And it was only 45 minutes ago.
So they're going to make another note saying, planes flying over, we're fucked.
Yeah, so this is on time. This is as it unfolds. Live history happening right fucking now. And we don't mean to sound jovial about that at all. But it is happening. So we'll jump to one of the other stories that we have here. This is titled Russia-Ukraine Conflict Live Updates. Ukraine military says it has shot down Russian aircraft as missiles target infrastructure. Posted 11 hours ago and updated 11 minutes ago. Alright, we got a key events fucking actual timeline going on here. No, fuck off. 9 minutes ago. Scott Morrison condemns the brutal, unprovoked invasion of Ukraine.
So apparently they've done it then.
They'd said they'd done it yesterday. It was considered an invasion into the Dunbar region and shit.
Yeah, but didn't they hand themselves over?
Yeah, but it's still considered like an invasion by technical terms. This is what everyone was talking about yesterday, because it was like, what do we call it?
9 minutes ago he said brutal. Brutal's got, there's physical damage there, something must happen.
I'm sure some, like, there has been shots fired. Anyway, 31 minutes ago, Ukraine president says he's building an anti-Putin coalition. Might be a little bit late. 45 minutes ago, Ukraine's military says it has shot down Russian aircraft. 1 hour ago, Russian military have targeted Ukraine infrastructure. 2 hours ago, the time to act is now. Ukraine foreign minister says invasion has been launched. Well, that was 2 hours ago.
So they've left the Dunbar region and decided to fully invade.
I imagine so, if the Ukrainians are shooting down aircraft.
Yep.
So it is on. This is it. It has begun. You are listening to... Oh, we got another update. What happened? 10 minutes ago? No, that's the same. Okay, fuck you. How dare they? It says, anyway, the story above the key events here, the timeline, says Ukraine's military says it has shot down 5 Russian planes and 1 helicopter, as the country's foreign minister says a full-scale invasion is unfolding. And that's the end of that story.
It's fucking going on now.
Yeah.
Unless Sky News is bullshitting us.
This isn't Sky, this is ABC.
Well.
Fucking A. Hell. Well, not fucking A, but fucking A.
Yeah, that's fucked. And you were thinking they could have sat on them walls for weeks. I told you. You wouldn't have sent them all there just to sit there for ages.
I never said that. Not once. I said they could just take Ukraine. Because we still don't know, like, we're still only talking about putting sanctions on.
Yeah.
We're not talking about
Once they get to the other side
military.
of Ukraine and start trying to take NATO nations.
Yeah, but if that happens, then we'll be all in. I don't think we're all in yet. America and everyone sort of bitched out. We should be all in. Look at us. Look at the height of fucking Malcolm Turnbull. No, that's not his name. What's his fucking name? Scott Morrison.
Yeah, we
Look
should.
at
Didn't we defend the
we're
independent countries before? Now we're just letting them get taken.
yeah. That's the thing. We've been saying, like, when all this shit was going on at the start, like 2 months ago in my last podcast, I was talking about it, and like I had literally played an interview with Joe Biden where he said if Russia invade, we will go to war, and
He's full back down.
he's fall back down from that. Alright, the next one. Oh, there's a breaking up the top. Oh no, it's gone. Anyway, this story, titled Ukraine announces nationwide state of emergency as Russia troops build near border.
Seems like we're going backwards in the timeline.
Yeah. We had to start with the most relevant. Key points: Ukraine's state of emergency will last for 30 days.
And can be extended for another 30.
I'm pretty sure that's really going to count on how long Ukraine's there for.
Yeah. If it lasts 30 days,
It's a good
we'll
effort.
keep it going.
Says key points: its foreign ministry has warned citizens not to visit Russia and those already there to leave the country. I didn't think they could get over the border. Oh, I'm sure they...
International flights will never happen and stuff. Letting Russians go there.
Imagine that, still having flights between Ukraine and Russia. And the Parliament has voted to approve a draft law which will allow Ukrainians to carry firearms in self-defense.
Well, we should have that law too. I reckon that sounds like a good law.
Well, we purposely got rid of that law.
Yes, well, look how good that's gone.
Well, we haven't had any
Mass shootings.
Yeah.
We haven't gone America style. But, like,
Yeah.
it could still be nice to be able to defend myself. That's why I bought a bow and arrow. But that is still not as effective.
Not unless there's 30 of us loose and...
All at once.
Anyway, the story reads, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said Russia has approved an offensive against Ukraine and Russian President Vladimir Putin had not replied to his invitation to hold talks. Mr. Zelensky made the remarks in a 10-minute address posted on Telegram, during which he spoke in both Ukrainian and Russian. On Wednesday, Ukraine expanded a state of emergency, which has been in place in 2 eastern regions since 2014.
Probably the 2 that have been taken now.
To the entire nation, as the country braces for a possible large-scale military offensive from Russia. It comes as Ukraine's foreign ministry warned Ukrainians not to visit Russia and urged its citizens already there to leave the country in a travel advisory issued on Wednesday. The United States assessed that more than 150,000 Russians forces were assembled around Ukraine, with some already moving into Ukraine's eastern regions, Donetsk and Luhansk. Now, I don't know the actual size of the Russian military, but I'm pretty sure the Chinese is 200 million strong.
Yeah, 150,000 isn't a great deal, but it's a great deal for Ukraine to defend against.
Oh yeah, totally. But I mean, like, this is the sort of scale we're talking about. Like, that's 150,000. That's only 15% of 1 million, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's 15%. Yeah.
1.5%.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's even worse. No, 15. I'm pretty sure it's 15. Yeah, and, you know, there's fucking 200 times of that in China. So shit's kicking off. Shit is kicking off.
Yeah, but this can be the test though. I mean, China already took Hong Kong. So they've already pushed back the network out. They've shown that they can get rid of them diplomatically, and now Russia's going to show you can still get rid of them.
Well, Russia's still waiting to hit Taiwan. It wouldn't surprise me if that happened without our fucking covering it. I imagine they're going to be fairly close together because it seems like Russia and China are pretty tight.
Yeah, these days.
Anyway, the story goes on to say, Ukraine's state of emergency will last for 30 days and can be extended for another 30 days. Secretary of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, Alexei Danilov, told a briefing. The state of emergency allows authorities to impose restrictions on movement, block rallies, and ban political parties and organisations in the interests of national security and public order. Regional authorities can make decisions on whether to introduce curfews and other measures. Depending on the threats that may arise in certain territories, there will be either a more strengthened or more weakened state of emergency. We're talking about border areas where we have a border with the Russian Federation, with Belarus. The Ukrainian government will also close airports in eastern Ukraine from overnight because of the confrontation with Russia. Ukrainian aviation authorities also have declared some airspace in the east to be dangerous areas because of attempts by Russian aviation authorities to seize control of the airspace.
How do they do that?
Seize control of the airspace?
Yeah. They
Probably.
just get on the radio and be like, this is fucking ours now. You said the plane will blow it up.
I'd imagine something like that. They'd probably just keep flying patrols through,
Yeah.
threatening other planes to keep out. Ukraine acted after Russia issued a ban on civilian air traffic in airspace over eastern Ukraine. The announcement on Wednesday night local time establishes buffer zones for traffic controlled by Ukrainian authorities to avoid coming into potentially hazardous conflict with the air traffic controlled by Russian authorities. And that's the end of that story. But yeah, you were talking about having flights in and out. Well, there you go. They have closed. Russia itself has closed off its airspace. Hopefully, so another MA80 or whatever the hell that number was doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, imagine that, America. That'd put it up.
what, a plane getting shot down?
No, you'd have that little fucking drone flights around it. You just get another MA80 in there.
Yep.
What was it, a Moab?
No, I mean the commercial flight.
Oh, another one of those. Yeah, nah. Yeah, they'll do that again by accident anyway.
If they're still going. It'd be like, how irresponsible would it be for some fucking airline to still be flying over that part?
Nah, people gotta go where they want to go, bro.
Yes, but it's an active war zone.
Nah, she'd be right.
Fucking hell. Oh, moving on here. Alright, moving on here. We have Chinese police begin work in Solomon Islands to maintain law and order as Australian officials watch closely. Yeah. The Solomon Islands are close to Timor, aren't they? I'm sure. I'm sure they're like our, like East Timor is part of us in a way, or PNG. Like we were talking about this the other day, because that's where they had the war.
I think Solomon and that's near like Tonga and shit. They're their own country.
Anyway, it says a team of Chinese police officers has begun work in Solomon Islands 2 months after the tiny Pacific nation accepted Beijing's offer to help restore law and order following recent anti-government demonstrations. Okay, I didn't know that happened.
Yeah.
Actually,
There you go.
I covered this in a previous podcast, man, when they had riots and stuff. But like, they're meant to be our allies. Like, that's why we had it here in the news and everything. Fucking hell. Anyway, it goes on saying, the unit known as the People's Republic of China Public Security Bureau's Solomon Islands Policing Advisory Group. Fucking hell.
That's a fucking.
Ropsbibus Ip Ag. Opropsibus Gag. If you cut it down to the first letters.
No, you don't say the O. It's a, like the Ovs. Ovs aren't. An O, you know.
So, well, you might put it in there just for pronunciation's sake, because otherwise it's PRC. And that just doesn't really go.
Oh, it's
Brick.
RCP.
People's Republic of China Public Security Bureau Solomon Islands Policing Advisory Group.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, people's, yeah.
Anyway, it says
PRCP.
PRCP
That's fucking fucking into it, boys. Tell me how you say that one.
Anyway, it says it consists of about 9 officers who will train local police to improve their anti-riot capabilities. It says late last year, Beijing announced the Solomon Islands government had agreed to accept its offer of anti-riot equipment and training, in a move which appeared to catch Australian officials off guard and cause some anxiety in Canberra. I bet it fucking did. In November, Australia was among the first countries to provide assistance to the troubled government of Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare, dispatching 73 Australian Federal Police officers and 43 Defence Force personnel to the Solomons capital, Honiara. And China has only got 9 dudes there. Beat them up on the way to work. Fuck me drunk. 43 of you cunts. 73. And 43. What's the matter with you? Have a go.
36 or something. 116.
The Australian deployment followed days of unrest, which saw buildings including a police station set on fire as protesters vented their fury over government services and corruption, as well as moves to align the Solomon Islands more closely with China. So getting them in to do the peacekeeping is going to fucking be sweet.
Yeah, they're going to love that.
Yep.
Kneel down before the Emperor.
Praise China. Us here on Morning with the Lord would like to advocate our love of the dragon. Nah, dragon.
They're chasing the dragon, maybe, but you can stick your fucking Emperor shit.
Yeah, unless it's me.
No, you're not an Emperor, can't you? Lord.
I'm close.
Not even.
Pretty close.
An Emperor needs followers, go.
So does the Lord too. Like, if he wants
No,
to
you just
say
need
that.
a plot of land. Don't fucking load it.
Hey, this is about what it took. You know, you were sweet. You had a plot of land. Cunts were like, oi, give me somewhere to sleep.
Hey, my lord, may I rest in your fucking horse barn?
Paddock?
Yeah, whatever.
Goes on to say, China's embassy in the Solomon Islands says it will work with its new advisory group to continuously strengthen communication with the police, steadily promote the training and assistance to the police under the epidemic situation, and further deepen bilateral police cooperation. In a statement, it added the unit would also cooperate with the embassy to conduct visits and safety training for overseas Chinese and Chinese-funded enterprises, so as to effectively protect the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese citizens and overseas Chinese. Mad. The head of the Public Security Bureau, teaming is Zhang Gungbao, who is currently the peacekeeping police captain in Beijing's Ministry of Public Security, and who previously served in Liberia. This week, members of Chinese Police Advisory Group were released from a lengthy mandatory quarantine stay in the Solomon Islands and met Royal Solomon Islands Police Force Commissioner Moston Mangao. Diplomat.
Mangao out with the twang.
Apologies for any mispronunciations. Story goes on here with diplomatic figures who spoke to the ABC on the condition of anonymity said Australian officials were closely watching the Chinese police deployment, with some officials expressing concern it could even pave the way for military cooperation. Earlier this month, during a visit to Fiji, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced plans to open an American embassy in the Solomon Islands.
Not happening now.
I doubt it. The US closed its embassy in Honiara in 1993. It is now represented by a consulate there, with an embassy in the Papua New Guinea capital of Port Moresby. See, Port Moresby's Australian, man.
Yeah. We own half of the PNG.
Yeah. In 2019, Mr. Sagabare's government decided to formally cease diplomatic recognition of Taiwan, a move that angered many opposition supporters in the Solomon Islands. So that means they're fully backing in with the fucking Chinese then.
Pretty much, by the sounds of that. They probably want to use
Fucking hell.
them to get their other half of the country back. And, like, if they think they'll be under better laws by China...
Now this isn't this is a different country than PNG, it's just that PNG is sort of like a central hub and there are delegates there which deal with some of the other smaller island nations like Solomon Islands. Still, that's a fight we're going to have to make. See, this is what happens when you racist dicks to a country for so long. They turn Chinese.
Yeah, because they're not racist.
No. I'm sure that'll end well.
Yeah.
Way better than us. Yeah, infrastructure border guards in his country. Martial law has been declared. Fuck, I only get like 3 words more into that fucking heading.
You gotta update the one we're watching.
Yeah, let's see if there's anything new.
They'll come up something there.
No, still 41 minutes ago. Oh, that's why, because we clicked on...
Further down.
Yeah. Yes. Oh. Moving on.
I have some shit to say.
And moving on now to the last story, we have something of at least the title is a slightly lighter note. It is titled Why China is Censoring Re-Released Episodes of Hit TV Show Friends. And I don't know, but straight away, I'm upset.
Yeah, Friends was barely needed to be censored. They didn't do fuck all.
Yeah, there may have been some like slightly homophobic jokes, but China's in on that. So I'm not sure what they could possibly be censoring except for sexual references.
There's not much of that when you just cut all the Joey out.
No, Monica and the girls, like the way that they talk about all the blokes that they go through, which isn't too many, but is still fairly lucrative. We'll have a read here anyway, see what happens, see what they're up to. Says the US sitcom Friends holds a unique place in Chinese pop culture. It's one of the most beloved foreign TV shows in China, and watching it was many Chinese fans' first exposure to American culture. I started watching Friends in year 6 and it means a great deal to me, just like a companion I grew up with, longtime fan Amy Jing said. And I'm right there. So fucking what? Friends is over.
It's been over for years.
It's been over for years. Like, we're lucky we even get to fucking rewatch this shit. This is the only reason we're still fucking talking about it. I mean, like, fucking hell, you go back here in Australia, before that, you know, you don't hear any cunt going on about Kingswood Country. You know, well, you do hear people mention it, but it's still like one of those things that was just mad in the past. Yeah. Everyone's accepted that they don't get to watch it anymore. But considering we still get to watch all this shit fucking over and over on digital media, people can still like, nah, don't you dare. We're lucky we can still even watch it without having to pay for fucking... Do you know how much it'd cost for a Friends box set? Yeah. I bought the, what was it, the Stargate SG-1 box set. And that was like over $200. I think it was 211 and that was on special.
Friends was more seasons, more episodes than that.
Yeah, Friends was the longest running sitcom. But I don't know, man. SG-1 was, I'm pretty sure, about 11 seasons. I think, if you count the movies.
The movies aren't a full season.
Yeah. Still, it was fairly long.
It was long.
It was fairly long. But yeah, that was $200. Like, we're not paying nearly that. You could pay the $6 for whatever fucking streaming service it's up on for a month and watch the whole lot in that month.
Yep.
But then still, you're not going to be able to rewatch it. You're not going to have, like, it's still just going to be another conversation where, like, that was mad. And then we're just reliving shit. Fuck it. Like, I'm all for reliving shit. I love nostalgia. I'll go back and watch the fucking Spider-Man cartoons from back in the day. I love that shit. But I still recognise it as something that's been and gone. You know, fucking... There is good shit now. Like, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like this is human nature that has been magnified because we can fucking talk about it on the internet. And it's just like, yeah, fucking everyone feels that about Friends. But that's the thing, everyone feels that about Friends. I mean, Jasmine and Mum, they still watch Friends over and over again. And fucking even me old man, that's like one of the only TV shows I kind of watch.
Simpler days.
It is pretty funny too, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy Friends. But I just don't think it's worth, like, one, censoring, and two, whinging about.
It's China, bro.
No, but it's people too. If they censored it here, we'd have a fucking soot.
Yeah. Chinese public don't get that chance.
No, they do, that's what we're fucking reading. Well, she's not. She probably lives here or something. But her name's Jing, Amy Jing. I'm pretty sure that's of Oriental background.
Yeah, but she's not saying anything bad about what they've done, how they've changed it.
No, all she said was it means a great deal to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is, you know.
That's not speaking against what they've done.
Not yet. We haven't finished. There might be more. Anyway, in that note, what comes up next is a quote. Before going abroad, I practice my IELTS test, English language test, by watching Friends over and over again. To me, Friends is like a door to the outside world. But fans like Miss Jing have been outraged this week over the censorship of re-released episodes of the program. Major Chinese streaming sites including Tencent, Baidu's Youku, Alibaba's Youku, and Bilibili.
That's Bahubali.
Bahubali!
That was different. That was Indian.
Probably means something completely different in Chinese, but it just makes me think of Bahubali.
That was a good 3-movie long series. I'm glad I watched that.
Yeah, fuck oath, that was alright.
Good old fucking Bollywood.
Hey. I don't have the ring to go like, ding, you know. Anyway, continuing on from Bahubali. Recently started showing a version of the first season of the show, its first re-release in China for several years. But viewers quickly noticed parts of the long-running program were different to what they had seen before, including the removal of lesbian, gay, bisexual and trans-related content, as well as mistranslations.
So they full on the voices again.
Yeah.
Nice.
Unless it's in the captions.
Oh, maybe.
But mate, I understand lesbian, gay and bisexual, but I don't think there was any trans content.
It must have been for them to mention it.
Yeah, but it would have been only fucking small, surely.
Trans wasn't much of a thing back then.
Oh yeah, no what? You still hear about trans from Roman, man. It's always been a thing. But fucking... There was definitely lesbian and gay because Ross's missus was a fucking lesbian. Anyway, it says, Fergus Ryan, at leading China researcher from the Australian Strategic Policy Institute, says the censorship reflecting Beijing's concern about the country's declining birth rate. Fuck off.
So Friends is why they're having less children. Good show, good lads.
Or no, they're trying to discourage any gay or lesbian action because the birth rate isn't high enough. But we only just discussed when the mic was off for a second that China has a massive problem with their birth rate because of the one-child policy, and there ended up being a lot more boys than girls.
Yeah.
So now the birth rate's down because there is literally a fuckload less females in their population.
Females can have
They
one
can...
baby every 9 months. Males can breed for fucking every fucking 3 days.
Every day. Oh, every load of semen's got fucking...
Possible candidates in it as well.
possible candidate. Mr. Ryan said the Chinese government's effort to boost population growth by getting rid of one-child policy and introducing 2- and 3-child policies were not working. The censorship is a part of the Chinese Communist Party's renewed emphasis on traditional gender roles, targeting traditional family values and culture, he said. Mr. Ryan added the censors might have wanted to suppress discussion of gender roles not focused solely on procreation, which could be prompted by the depiction of gay and lesbian people. There's a subheading here which is much more bold than usual subheadings, but it says multiple orgasms becomes women's gossip endlessly.
Yeah, well, if they've had one, they're going to keep talking about it.
Can you believe that shit?
Did you know I could do it more than once?
Yeah, I didn't like boys yesterday. Now I do.
When my hand gets tired, I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, that actually feels alright.
This cunt that just keeps going, keeps happening.
It happens again. I tried it the next day. Happened again. Dad, is that you?
Did you get the milk?
Oh, fucking hell. It goes on. The most significant change in the new version of the show is the complete removal of main character Ross's ex-wife Carol, who divorces him after coming out as a lesbian.
Yeah.
Entire removal. That wouldn't be too hard considering there is fuck all. Yeah. He's a pretty weak father figure, old Ross.
Oh, yeah.
He sees that kid about 3 times over those 9 seasons or whatever.
Each season's supposed to be a fucking year.
Ooh, fucking. tap it out.
I'll
Ash in
tap
there.
you out. Where the fuck's the thing? Oh, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. Have you heard that, people? Get that in you.
In one scene in which Ross originally told his parents that his wife was living with another woman, he instead just opens his mouth before the camera cuts to his parents' shocked faces. Oh man. Surely you could have cut that whole episode.
Yeah, he just got rid of the episode. His wife was gone the next episode. He's like, she left me.
The deletions made are so crude, and the plots sometimes don't even connect or make sense after the changes, Miss Jing said.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Pretty hard to perfect. Only been waiting 11 years for you to do it.
Other changes included mistranslations of mildly sexual suggestive references. In one instance, a reference to a woman experiencing multiple orgasms is translated as "woman gossips endlessly." Ah, so that's what that title is.
No. They gossip endlessly about their multiple orgasms. Don't you worry.
Is that not the sexist translation you could come up with? I mean, like, the closest thing to a female orgasm, the thing that they do endlessly is gossip. I'm pretty sure a fucking dude probably put that in there. Fucking...
Well, it wasn't a chick. There's not enough around.
yeah.
Who else are they going to hire to do this shit? The trans?
Continues on here. The show was first aired in 1994. It's ironic to think a show made more than 20 years ago still needs to be censored today, Miss Jing said. See, she's complaining now.
Jeez, now. 20 years ago, I was wrong. I thought
Yeah.
it was like less than that.
Miss Jing actually disappeared about 14 hours after making these statements. No, I'm only joking. They never
No,
have.
she did.
We're not sure of Mrs. Jing's whereabouts. Let's just say that. She hasn't made comment to us. I find that a little bit suspect.
We hope she's alright.
Thoughts and prayers are with the Jing family. Continue on here. Pun 1, a senior lecturer in Chinese and Asian studies at UNSW, said she believed the censorship had more to do with the government's desire to control social stability rather than the country's birth rate. I think they're pretty closely tied. Like, fuck me. It's literally saying the same thing, I'm pretty sure. Like, there's a fucking minor difference, but whether you change one or the other, it's going to have effect on both the social stability and whatever the fuck they said it was before. Oh, no, look at that. My screen's scrolling down even though I'm telling it to go up. Now it's not.
It's just not responding to Duffy, that's his problem. Doesn't like the Duff.
Yeah, where did it say... what the hell fucking...
Down some more.
was it?
Yeah, you're at the top.
Yeah. But I was looking for... because she said...
Oh, that would have been up, yeah.
country's birth rate controls social stability instead of birth rate. Yeah, so they said it was birth rate. She's saying social stability. But the birth rate is entirely connected between the values of the people, and if you keep the values of the people on a fucking level, the social stability is going to be sweet. But whereas if it fucking changes, there goes your social stability. I would probably weigh more on the side of birth rate being a good monitor than sociability.
I can turn that in.
Fuck off. Oh.
It'll work, though.
The censorship is about the role of the media that the government wants to define for control and governance, she said. China wants the media to vigorously promote and advance social culture. Anything the party considers vulgar, unhealthy or deviant from the mainstream content must be banned.
That's like China, yeah.
She said China's growing LGBT and feminist movements could be seen by the government as sources of social instability that justified the censorship. Dr. Wang said media censorship of LGBT and sexual content was also a part of China's broader political agenda to build up the country's masculinity in the sense of being powerful and strong. For example,
If you want to be viewed as a threat, that's what you want.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I at least have mentioned many times, this ultra-conservative view only pushes this shit underground and makes it more prevalent. Because people are especially more drawn to, during their teenage years, the outer limits of society. So you kind of end up with this double-edged blade where even though you're cutting into what you consider to be unhealthy actions by the populace, you create it more because it becomes more spoken about in hushed voices. Therefore more taboo, and taboo is always interesting.
You know, you're speaking a hushed voice in China anyway. Can't talk against the government.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking filthy.
Yeah, I need to clean that up. It is unclear whether the cuts were made by the Chinese government or by the show's distributor in China. Isn't it funny how much longer this fucking article is to anything else, which everything else was way more fucking important?
Yeah, and this thing's huge.
This is fucking we're not even halfway down.
Holy fuck.
Fucking hell.
We had 2 sentences for the invasion of Ukraine.
Yeah, fucking Jesus. Continuing on here with the important stuff. Chandler, who asked that his real name not be used to protect his identity, previously worked in China's film and television copyright industry and said while Beijing has red lines that clearly could not be crossed, it was sometimes unclear what the government would censor. Can we just go back to the start of this fucking paragraph or sentence for a second? Chandler, who asked that his real name not be used to protect his identity. We're talking about fucking Chandler from the show.
Yeah, Joey.
No, Chandler.
Oh,
Jason Bing.
yeah.
Whatever his fucking name is.
Can't said don't let his name be known. You just known it.
You just named him fucking Chandler. I wonder who that is. Jesus fucking Christ.
You crossed the line now, though. You fucked it.
Now China's going to take him down.
Yeah, China's all over that shit now.
Or maybe they're just trying to subliminally, subversively call Chandler out as a Chinese conspirator.
Yeah. So the next time he goes to China, he's fucked.
No. China and him are friends,
Oh.
is what I'm saying.
No, I don't like it. Chandler, get out of it.
Cut it out. He said such ambiguity led media organisations to cut material before sending the shows to be assessed by the government. The ambiguity creates a problem, which is that the platforms that hold the copyright of the show must just delete in advance anything that might be censored, he said. That was terrible. Pronunciation. That might be censored, he said.
He said. He said, she said bullshit.
No, just he said.
Oh. But that song's good.
It is all about the he said, she said bullshit.
Alright, good. We're on the same wavelength.
Right.
This thing's fucking disgusting.
Yeah. Oh, don't fuck off. I'll clean it in a second, cunt. Sometimes if the copyright companies
Second, we're halfway through.
send a film or show to the supervising bodies, but it doesn't pass the censorship process, that film or show will go onto a blacklist. Then you would need to delete the inappropriate content and also change the Chinese name of the show and resend it.
If it was on a blacklist, why were they still playing reruns of the old version?
Maybe they weren't.
They did for a while. They grew up watching it.
Yeah, that was back then. We're talking about different governments now.
So they got rid of it for 6 months, redone it all, and put it back on there. Censors can't have something like that.
Fuck off. That'll give me fucking tetanus, you can't. Then you would need to delete the inappropriate content and also change the Chinese name of the show and resend it. Chandler said this was a complicated, time-consuming process that involved loads of paperwork. In January, the dystopian ending of David Fincher's Fight Club was changed on the Chinese streaming platform Tencent to one where the establishment wins. How did they manage to fucking change that?
Let's find this version and watch it.
Yeah, I want to see that.
It's
The police rapidly figured out the whole plan and arrested all criminals, successfully preventing the bomb from exploding, says the new ending. However, after eliciting a huge public outcry on social media, the original ending was restored. Workers in China's entertainment industry have been calling for the establishment of a ratings system for many years as a solution to the problem of ambiguous censorship standards.
not going to happen.
However, Mr. Ryan said the ambiguity suited the government because it allowed the flexibility to deal with whatever is happening. It is in the interest of the Chinese Communist Party, to not precisely codify what is and is not appropriate. And there's another heading there that says nothing new for China's LGBTQ plus community, which we literally just said. So I don't really see the point in scrolling down. There is going to be a link provided to this story if you are interested in the entire package, but I think we have pretty well covered that China's fucking tight.
Tight, that's a word for it,
Yeah, prude. Shit cunts.
They don't want to change things, they want things to go back how they were when China fucking could near rule the world.
China was never that good. They're more closer to that now than they ever have been. Which is probably why they're like...
Yeah, but they can control their populace, they can't now. Can't as much as they used to.
To a degree, but I mean, before the internet, man, how much was the populace ever really controlled?
Pretty good with martial law and shit. They're fucking...
No, there was a lot
A lot
more...
of their provinces are run by martial law, fuck.
Yeah, to a fucking degree, but I mean, like, nowadays... Nowadays, like, back then, it would have been way easier to have a rape dungeon that no one would know about.
What are you talking about? I've seen your fucking...
We're not talking about my rape dungeon. I just mean the...
There's at least 3 women tied up down there. I can hear the moans from here.
Down where? Point them out. Take me to them.
Oh, your laptop's not even moving. It's plugged in.
Fuck. Alright. No, we won't worry about it.
That's another episode.
Coming up next week on The Morning with the Lord, we have interviews with the gag bitches in my basement.
At first I thought they were part of ICP's posse, but...
No, that was just because I painted them like that.
Oh! It was a personal choice, but I guess not.
Well, anyway, we're going to leave it there. As we have covered, we are most likely going to be in war by the morning. Well, or at least Ukraine's in war right now.
We should give it another quick fucking check.
Yeah, let's give it a quick. We'll give it a quick check. How about that? How about that? Here we are, Lord Duffield and Azza, keeping you up to date. We 28
minutes ago.
All right, we got a new one. Ukraine reports shelling across the country. Military equipment coming in through Crimea. We'll open that link.
Just clicked it, it just
Yeah, but fuck. Excuse me. Alright, these seem to be Twitter feeds too. I'm not. No, they're not Twitter feeds. These are just updates that almost look like a Twitter feed because they're that small. It says Ukraine reports shelling across the country. Military equipment coming in through Crimea River. Ukraine says at least 7 people have been killed by Russian shelling and 9 others wounded. Its officials say Russia is moving military equipment into the country from annexed Crimea River. They are also reporting shelling across the country all the way to Lviv in the west near Poland. An official told Reuters they have been non-stop cyber attacks. Another said that 1 person had been killed and another injured by shelling in Kiev.
The assault is on.
There's another from 40 minutes ago. It says that Russia's central bank is stepping in. After several Western nations announced harsh sanctions against Russia, mainly targeting banks and the financial sector, Russia's central bank has announced interventions on the currency market. It will be offering extra liquidity to the banking sector to secure financial stability, and after the sanctions essentially froze Western financing, the Russian currency, the ruble, has crashed to an all-time low against the US dollar. The Moscow exchange has suspended trading. Ooh.
So there's fucking sanctions had an effect then?
Yeah, they were always going to have that effect. But this is, I don't know if I'm sure I brought it up around to your place, but there's been talk about Russia and China trying to create their own economy.
Yeah.
And like separating from the West altogether. So I don't think the Rush.
Yeah, why is he going to offer a higher price to keep it going? If he's got another economy just sitting waiting fucking.
Well, he might. You would still probably keep the same currency and dollar notes that they have going, or rubles that they have going, because it'd be way cheaper and easier than trying to replace all of them with a new currency.
No, they won't have to change the currency, but I'll have to.
It'd be valued different on different markets. But that's the thing. Like, this would still just be I imagine, a tactic to keep people sort of happy.
Yeah, keep them thinking that he's not going to take Ukraine, which is exactly what.
Well, it's more just keeping the Russian rich people happy in knowing that their fucking wealth is accounted for. Like, that's what that'd be focused at, because you'd have all the rich Russians going, my money. He has to ensure them that they're not going to feel a downfall type thing. But yes, there you go. The latest breaking revelations here. That's from the ABC News. Ooh. Poland says it expects NATO's eastern flank to be reinforced. Reuters is reporting a Polish Secretary of State saying it's time to reinforce NATO's eastern flank. Here's a look at the flank. You obviously can't see the map there at home, but I can't see it either.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
That has to be the worst possible picture of a map you can put up.
Well, that's Ukraine.
Yeah. Belarus.
Belarus, and that they reckon they've already got troops from Ukraine, not Ukraine, from Russia in Belarus, so Belarus could be counted as a red now, and they're trying to take Ukraine. So
That's Russia too, that little chunk there.
Well, it looks NATO to me on that.
It's red, the rest of them are blue. Aaron's colourblind.
Yep, fair enough. They're all together, it looked like, I thought it was Ubuntu.
I'm going to actually take...
That's not a very big... It'd be hard for them to get, because they got to go through Poland and whatever that other country is up top.
Poland's there, that's Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia.
Well, they're not going to be able to get between Lithuania and Poland to get their troops up into that bit.
Yeah, I don't really see them holding as much of a threat either. I'm just saving this map. Yeah, they're at least part of the NATO, they must be.
Yeah, Poland and Lithuania, yeah. What about that other part of the country that's not Kiev? That little white bit of whatever that bottom country is.
Down there.
Yeah.
Moldova.
So that'll probably get taken too, and then they'll move to the little countries.
At least they got a fucking cover there. But this is honestly hectic shit. Did I not just save that? No, I did. I just reckon I made changes somehow. There's another refresh there by the look of it.
It's not a bit dark as the others.
No. For any Australians who need counsellor assistance.
Oh, yeah. Oh, let's watch that. Paula says she woke up this show.
That's just a picture.
Oh, what time is it? 18:52.
That was 2 minutes ago.
6. Oh yeah, 4:02. No, it's 6.
2 minutes ago.
Tasmania's not 2 hours behind us.
I don't know.
That's 2 hours and an hour.
No, 2 minutes ago this was uploaded. That could have been when it. So that was, yeah, probably 6, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, about 8 minutes ago. 9 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. Yep. Well, lords and ladies, anyway, we may do a special bonus edition of the show later on tonight if all hell breaks loose. You never know, especially at this moment. But we thank you for joining us. Lord Duffield says I will talk to you all next time, and I'm sure Azza does too.
Yep, I'll give it a go anyway.
Give it a go.
Give it a gaze. Love keeping up with the reg news.
Alright. See ya.